Wow. Wow. How about that intro?
That's music, mate. That's really cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
buzzing.
Huge thank you to our house band, the Control Loops, for the new epic.
With the new environment and everything, you've got the new band and everything. This is cool.
Oh yeah, the new background. Hi everybody. I've relocated and have a great new background. Full with the Human Factors cast, geometric shapes.
I was going to say, is there a name for that? But presumably it was just good stuff that you got from somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, there were conveniently a package of wall panels on Amazon that conveniently looked just like our.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How have you been? It's been like a minute.
It has been, they patched Sabbatical out in the latest patch, and we're back by popular demand, which is actually kind of cool. I think that's very cool. I've been very good, Barry. How have you been?
I have been awesome. I have been, unfortunately for this, I've been super busy. Lots of like really, really cool work that we've been doing and stuff. So that's all epic. But it got to the point where we were like, look, we're doing lots of work, but we're not doing any play. Where's the fun stuff? And so you reached out and said we need to get back on the wagon. So here we are.
Yeah, I'll give the full reason for why we're back. If it's not obvious, we love doing this. There were some key moments from Aspire this year that I think really hit home. So I'll mention those at the top of the show. But if you're joining us for the pre-show, thank you. We're glad you're here. We'll get started in like 25 minutes or something. But I'm just happy to be back.
Yeah, it's and in this new environment too. The platform that we use has changed, and I'm just now having to fiddle with buttons and stuff. So if I do switch off by accident, it's because I've pushed the wrong thing.
Okay, you'll be back.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But yes, no, it is all good. I was also really worried about daylight savings time because normally I mess that up every single year, but it seems like you've now synchronized and we're now at the appropriate bit apart. But also, you're on a different time zone.
Yes, I am. Let me throw a wrench in that because I'm in the one part of America that does not change times now.
Oh, okay. So you don't have.
So this is actually an hour later than I'd normally record for this, but that's okay because all my meeting times actually change around me now, which is kind of weird. But I'm in different. So I'm like Pacific time for half of the year, and then I'm Mountain time for the other half of the year, and I'll figure things out. Some days I have meetings really early, and some days I have meetings an hour later, and sometimes I podcast an hour earlier, and sometimes I podcast an hour later.
We need to just get rid of daylight savings. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. It's completely not needed anymore. But anyway,
there's a lot of safety reasons to do it too.
What, to get rid of it or
to get rid of it? To get rid of it.
Yeah. It's
what is the statistic? We got to look up some statistics. Can somebody in chat help us out with some statistics around daylight savings and how many crashes happen like immediately after daylight savings? I think there's some statistics around it. I'll do a quick Google, but let's see. Daylight savings statistics. Oh, well, we could do death statistics. I guess that would be fun. Ish.
There's a notable decrease in serious accidents in the spring when you go to DST.
When you go the other way?
A distinct rise in accidents in both minor and serious collisions when you go back to normal time.
Hey, look, we're already getting comments, Barry. Look at this. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us back.
Yeah, thank you. That's on. Oh, there we go. That's on. I found the chat button.
You found the chat buttons there.
Yeah, but there was one on the left, and now there's one on the right too. But it means you can have both at the same time, which you couldn't do as easily in the old. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's something. Oh, wait, hang on, wait. Oh, shoot. You know what? Hold on. I'm just now realizing something. This live caller thing in the top. That's wrong. Sorry. If you tried to call in, that's There you go. Now it should work. That's the right one.
Except on my, I don't know. I need to look at what this looks like going out, because I've got the live. Oh no, that must be to tell me that we're live.
Yes, I also have the live obscuring it, but I don't think that's actually.
Does that go out on the stream like that?
Yes. Yeah. Hey, well, here, should we? I feel like we should at least show. Well, never mind. I try to do one thing. It's like we haven't done this in a year or something.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I just realized what's going to happen if I do that.
Don't press any buttons, Barry.
No, but I like pressing buttons. It's fun. That should. Yeah, no, I'm not going to play with that just in case it goes too long. It's the joys of testing a new UI when, especially when we're so geeky about it.
It's this damn dark thing.
Are you not a dark fan?
No, I'm a huge dark theme fan.
It's I don't know. I sort of flip. There's some things where I like it switching all the time, mainly to tell the difference between different types of apps. But I had to do a long study into, or no, a deep study into the difference between light and dark backgrounds, and what the medical implications were. Which is really interesting, actually. But depending on the type of task you're doing, means that light and/or dark is better, which works really well, except for when you then talk to software programmers. But there we go.
They're very opinionated.
Yeah, just a bit. Can we talk shop for a minute?
Let's talk shop.
So notes editing. We've got ourselves 4 stories to talk about today.
Oh yeah, we let's see here. Yes, we do. We have. Well, you know what? I think the real theme, Barry, rather than 4 stories, is what has been going on while Human Factors Cast has been asleep at the wheel. We've missed some critical things that have happened this year, and so this is our chance to catch up on those stories.
It is, and therefore for other people, for the people who are watching, if you've got stories that you think we should be covering, then you need to put them in the chat so we can at least give it a shot.
Put it in the backlog.
Yeah.
No, good point. So let's actually preview those, so that way, if you all have thoughts on those, you can leave them in the comments, because you can do that wherever you're watching or listening. You can leave that stuff in the comments, and we will read it on the show. We have the technology. You saw me do it just now. I can put chats up on the screen. Look, here you go. Look at this. Oh, hey, look, here's some stats about daylight savings time. What is that? Mitra 2011, sun glare and road safety, empirical investigation of intersection crashes. Bottom line up front, it depends. Hey, there it is. There it is. Hit that "it depends" button. You're on when your drive is and what direction you're heading as to how daylight savings time affects it. Interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I imagine the east-west corridors are very tricky at those times.
But yeah, tonight we're going to talk about the AI video, so artificial intelligence creating video and what can we use it for. We're going to be talking about extended reality headsets and some quite cool stuff. I feel we're going to spend a fair bit of time talking about sunglasses. The evolution, revolution, or retrograde of car user interface, and particularly the touchscreens. I've got strong views on this, and I don't think it's the same views as everybody else. So I'm looking forward to getting into a bit of that. And then robotics, or more specifically, humanoid robots in the home. And having seen the video of this a few weeks ago, and it links with some of the stuff I was playing with at the time, that I thought was quite cool. But also, we will need to also talk about the Russian robot demonstration that happened this week, I think it was, or was it late last week?
I missed that one. You're gonna have to throw that in the
Oh,
chat.
I'll have to try and find it. But needless to say, when a demo falls flat on its face, does it ever? Let me just find.
So once again, while you're trying to find those, the four topics for tonight: AI video generation. I'm sure many of you have thoughts on this. Please leave them. Leave them. We will bring up your social thoughts as we talk about AI video generation. And I don't know about you, Barry, but I've certainly fallen for a few. I'm getting old.
Yeah, yeah. I've. It is helpful when people actually tag them
as art. Yeah. We'll talk about all that. And then extended reality. So that's the second topic. There's a few new things out on the streets. The Ray-Ban glasses and Apple Vision Pro. And then, like Barry said, the car UI going back to its roots and doing physical buttons. There's commitment from Volkswagen. And there's the Euro NCAP. And then what's the last one there? Yeah, the humanoid robot. Specifically the Neo humanoid. And I guess now we're throwing in the Russian robot fails. So.
Yeah, you need to watch that bit of video. It's really, I mean, it's not. If it was almost any other country, you'd be sitting there going, "Oh, at least they're giving it a go." But given the state of world affairs at the moment, it's just quite funny. And I don't know whether we want to, because it only happened, I think it was an hour ago, where we want to talk about Amazon going into orbit.
We can talk about that in the pre-show. Sure. What are they doing?
Jeff Bezos has launched Blue Origin. So he's whatever the Mars one was called. The one that looks less phallic, shall we say? The one that looks like a proper rocket. So that it's launched a mission to Mars, and so you could argue is he beating Elon at his own game and actually overreaching. So he's the takeoff. The launch was meant to go off. It had a half an hour delay where they reset the mission clock because we still don't know quite what happened. But it took off. And eventually, after much delay, it took off and took off well. The first phase came and landed back the way that it should do onto the acquisition boat, and the primary is, I believe, on its way to Mars as we speak. I think it's doing a snapshot of the Earth. So does that mean that he's beating Musk and beating SpaceX?
Let me see here. What Blue Origin launches landmark Mars mission? Okay, let's see what's I
think
for this.
I was watching it just earlier, so I can't. My memory's. I'm getting old now. My memory's terrible. But considering how much we've spoken, so it's the new Glenn, the Glenn.
Yeah,
no, Glenn. Considering we spoke, I remember when he had his first launch, and it was quite ridiculed, I think, around the world for not quite or making it into effectively, I think, low Earth orbit. And then with the new Shepard. Whereas with this is now, it's almost like it's a proper rocket, and it's doing its thing. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually makes it all the way to Mars.
Let's see. It's delivered twin escapade satellites on a path towards L2. Let's see here. Is it launching satellites in orbit and coming back, or is it like fully going on to Mars?
It's fully going on to Mars.
But yeah, both spacecraft are. Hold on. Sort of orbital. Okay. When the next Mars transfer window opens, the satellites will then depart L2, briefly swing back by Earth, and set on their final trek to the Red Planet. Huh.
which is pretty cool, really.
Okay, so the rocket itself is going to L2. Maybe. It delivered the twin Escapade satellites on a path. Oh, well, maybe not.
No, I was going to say, I thought the whole thing... Again, it was one of these things I didn't even know was happening until...
It happened an hour ago. Don't get on us about the details.
I watched I only realized it was happening when we sat down. So we sat down to... we just had dinner or whatever. And Sky News came up and said that the launch was imminent. And so I was like, what launch? So dived into it. Then that's when it went on to then a 30-minute hold. I went on a hold and then they reset the countdown timer. And I was like, I didn't even know this was happening. So I felt they should have emailed me first to tell me that they were doing it. Or at least ask permission or something.
Or at least ask, yeah. Jeez.
It's just rude, really.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so we'll. I mean, for me, the technology interesting bit here is he's done two things, or he's doing two things. The first one is obviously launching something with a Mars mission in mind, no matter how that's being completed. But then also he's landed the booster. Now, obviously, we all know. I mean, SpaceX Net has now been doing this for years, but this means that it's not it is not just Musk now. That it's not just SpaceX that can do the whole landing the booster, and therefore the economies of space flight have become much better because there will now be there'll be real competition in the marketplace, and so it'll all be about now a drive for efficiency, and we'll get much. Basically, the cost of space flight is now going to come down.
You'd hope. I'm starting my own rocket company next week, so
cool.
Who knows?
Okay. Do you need an HF?
Sure. Yeah, we could use a few.
Yeah. I can nip over, give you I don't know, a couple of days of time. But no, so I think genuinely, as much as the whole Musk Bezos thing annoys me, I think the SpaceX Blue Origin competition element of it is now going to be truly fascinating. I think this is probably a launch that wasn't hyped as much as it could have been because it's failed twice already, or it got abandoned twice already. So they probably didn't want to put all the cards on the table. However, this marks out probably the second biggest evolution in the modern space era. I'll put that out there.
You know, speaking of space and comparing rocket sizes between billionaires, and this reminds me of a headline we used to have. Do you remember the headline?
Yes.
Hang on, let me go see if I can dig it out of the archives here.
That must be around somewhere.
It's got to be in here. It's one of those ones that here. Okay, yep. Oh, hey, human factors at its core. Here you go.
Yes. Yeah.
That one. Still one of my favorites to bring up.
Yeah. It's in fact I've started to use that in depending on the age of the people I'm lecturing to at the time. I sometimes use that as an example.
Do not do that while you're lecturing to preschoolers.
No. And in fact, even some of the bachelor courses, I'm a bit maybe not.
Maybe not. You're right.
Still. So yeah. So I think space could get exciting again, because it's got a bit. I think samey over the past 8 months or so.
More satellites.
Yeah.
More satellites.
We're looking to have a new space launch capability here, basically about an hour and a half north of where I live. So we went to the opening of that a few months ago.
How'd that go? I think I saw the pictures.
Yeah, so it went well. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. One of my team went instead. But it was, it seemed to do what it did. But the I was chatting to somebody about the fact that the UK wants to have its own launch capability, and I completely hadn't, because I'm not into flight dynamics or anything like that. I hadn't truly understood the complexity of launching something from anywhere.
That far north of the equator, I'm sure. You probably
Well,
have
also
a lot of.
because I hadn't realised that. Obviously, the reason why it works in America so well is you've got so much open space, but B, you've got so much water that isn't congested with flight zones, with flight paths. Whereas in the UK, a huge chunk of, particularly around London and places like that, have massive airways going through them, and so trying to avoid them as soon as you launch is really difficult. So yeah, and that
steer the spacecraft. That's how it works.
So yeah, so that was a whole learning experience for me.
Well, hey, as we're about 8 minutes out from our show starting, I'll just put out a call. If you're watching live, you know what? Say hi. Say hi. It's been a minute. Say hi to us. Dang it.
So, what have you been doing for the past 12 months while we haven't?
What have you been doing? We've said our piece. What have you been doing the last 12 months or so? And while you're in the comments section, why don't you go ahead and leave us what you think of some of the news stories that we're going to talk about tonight. So we have AI video. That's been a big one over the last couple months here. Have you been fooled? Which one fooled you? Was it the puppies jumping on the trampoline? Cats jumping on the trampoline? Deer? Which one was it?
I just saw one the other day with an ice skater with a cat. I think is now on the OpenAI website. I think is.
You know what we should do in the post show? We should play around with Sora. I got an invite to Sora too.
Nice.
Play around with that. What could possibly go wrong when Human Factors Cast plays with AI? So AI video. Leave us your thoughts on that. I'm sure you have plenty. Have you used any of the new extended reality stuff? Have you used that new Facebook Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses? What about cars? Do you have strong opinions about physical buttons in cars? How about that robot?
I think everything should be touchscreen. Come fight me.
Should we set you up at a desk with a handwritten note that says cars should be touchscreen? Come fight me. Come change my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I don't actually believe that, but you never know. It's
with Nano Banana, we could definitely make that image really quickly. That's Google's. So Nano Banana, that's Google's image generation AI tool. And it's really good. It's really good about understanding like physical dimension. So if you give it a picture of a person, it roughly knows what that person would look like in a three-dimensional environment. And then if you give it a picture of something else, like say a car, it would roughly know the dimensions of that car in a three-dimensional space. And so if you were to have the human interact with a car and say, have this person lean on the car, they would actually lean on the car in such a way that would match physics. So it's actually a really good photo generation model that has a lot of that like core understanding, but
yeah, perception or whatever the
terms are. What are the kids are talking about these days?
No, I think it's definitely got a lot of pros and cons to it. I think so. Yeah, I'm excited to play with some of the video stuff. I haven't really played that much with it, so.
Ooh, okay, we got a good post show for you then. Stay tuned after the main show. We got a good post show. Start thinking of some prompts for the post show. We'll play it. We'll throw them into Sora and we'll see what comes back.
Yeah. Oh, 5 minutes to go. Gosh,
yes, we do. We're 5 minutes. Are we ready on the show notes? Are we good?
Probably not, but hey, never mind.
Wing it, man. We're seasons at this. What could go wrong?
Quite a lot. We haven't done it for a year.
Talking shop.
I've got one more thing there, so that's the most important thing.
Okay, good. That's great. Talking shop one more time. I think we'll do the commercial in between the two stories. just because we're probably not going to get to It Came From tonight. Just to catch up on all this stuff. We'll make time for one more thing.
Yes, I think we have to do that. Otherwise, we'll get complaints and everything.
Yeah, I think so.
And I have to tell you about my new passion, and we don't get that unless we get to one more thing. Just to tease that up.
Yeah. I knew this was a very new passion. Last we talked, and it seems like it's been a long-lasting passion, which is great.
Yeah, it's
How much more cryptic can we get about this without getting like?
I'm gonna say it's cost me a lot of money since then.
Okay, this is not going well. We should probably stop talking about passionate hobbies that have lasted a long time and have cost you a lot of money. It's good to be back. I love being back. This is great.
As a way of, I just looked at something on Facebook. The live button does obscure the QR code.
Oh, does it? Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Oh, shoot. All right. Hey, look at that. Wait a minute. Well, then there's a very simple fix to that. Now you have to point up in that corner, Barry. You have to do the point.
Cool. Okay. Well, dude, it's there.
There you go. Okay. We should just make a whole new set of graphics for this thing.
Well, we haven't used them for a while. Well, we haven't been using them for a while, I guess.
No.
When you look like that. You've had plenty of time, Nick. I mean, what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I don't know. Although I do see a new style here. This is called Air. See this? It looks kind of clean.
It's almost
my name. Ooh.
It's like a little name badge right there.
It's a little name badge.
Here,
on my shirt.
I just realised I've only put in my my first name, not my surname. I don't think I bothered because you don't normally put these things on.
No, I don't. But here I can. You know what? They also added the option for me to make some changes. So there, I've made your title. Baboon.
That hasn't come up.
Oh, did it not come up? Hang on, it came up for me for a second. Hang on, let's see here. How about
because I updated my thing at the same time, therefore it might have.
How about that?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Fairly appropriate. So, we've got to. We
got to start the show. We got to start the show. Oh my goodness. I'm late to a very important date. Let's where's the thing? Where's the thing? I usually press the thing. Where's the thing? They moved everything. It's in here somewhere.
You still got a minute, so ish.
Now we're going now.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Human Factors Cast, your weekly podcast for human factors, psychology, and design.
Oh, it's so good being home. Episode 309. We're here. We're back. We're recording this episode live on November 13th, 2025. This is Human Factors Cast. I'm your host, Nick Rome, and I'm joined today by Mr. Barry Kirby. Barry, how the hell are you, man?
I'm awesome. It's great to be back in the studio, and God, I've missed this.
Me too. We're back by popular demand. We got an awesome show for you lined up. We're going to be catching up with all the Human Factors trends in the news that we missed while we've been gone for the last year. So what do we got? We got AI video. We got new extended reality stuff. We got cars and how they're putting physical buttons back into them, which is a big win for Human Factors. And then, of course, we got robots. But first, we always got to talk about the programming notes. And you know what? If you're a longtime listener of the show, I want to thank you. Thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for sticking through the hiatus. Sabbatical's over. We're back. But I do want to bring up a couple things here. So why are we back? Why now? What happened? Well, I'm truly inspired and thankful for what has happened at Aspire this year. If you're not aware, we did put out a big, long live stream from Aspire this year. Talked to many great folks, had a lot of great conversations, but I think some of the conversations that happened off camera are some of the more interesting ones, because a lot of folks have stopped by the podcast booth and asked a few questions, mainly, what happened to the show? Where were you guys? What's going on? Why are you not producing? What happened to Barry? Are you guys okay? And my answer to that is yes. We both had some life stuff come up. I've relocated. If you're watching the video, you can see my fancy new digs in my background here. But I think one of the things that really humbled me is that despite not producing for the better half of a year, we had more people show up at the podcast booth this year than in any of the years past. And the show has been a continuous part of folks' lives. So just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It's made me rejuvenated and inspired. And I guess, as they say, the show must go on. I also want to welcome a couple new folks who we picked up at HFES to the lab. So welcome to Rydia, Esha, and Jasmine to the lab. We are working on some really cool stuff, one of which I will tease in just a moment. The other thing that's exciting news, since we've been gone, I have been keeping an eye on a Chinese oil drilling company. Now, Barry, do you have any idea why I might have my eyes on a Chinese oil drilling company?
No, and I can't wait to find out.
So there was a Chinese oil drilling company that took our domain, humanfactorscast.com, back in 2019. And it's been a vicious fight, a vicious battle. But I can confidently say that we are now the owners of the humanfactorscast.com domain. So you can go there and check out all our stuff. It still redirects you to the media site. But take that, Chinese drillers.
Why do Chinese drillers need the human?
I don't know. It's the strangest thing. It's the strangest thing. Anyway, as I mentioned, we have that HFES Aspire live on our video platforms now. So go check that out. And if you want a little sneak peek of some of the fun stuff the lab is working on, if they say there's no more original thoughts in the world, let me propose to you this sentence. Chris Wicken's thirst trap video. If that's not enough to entice you, go check out our TikTok and watch the thirst trap video. There you go. Barry, it's been a long year. What's been going on at 1202?
Well, at 1202, pretty much the same has been going on as what's been going on in Human Factors Cast. Not a lot. So 1202 is still in a pause. I know the last time we spoke, a year ago, we were looking at rejuvenating what was going on, and we still talk about that. And in fact, the team has come up with the list of topics and about how we're going to bring it back. But we wanted to be more planned, more considered, and more sustainable. Because as we found out, when it's just a few people doing a lot of work, the ability to effectively burn out and lose the fun is real. So we want to make it more sustainable and make that work. But in, I guess, other news, which I think we spoke about a bit the last time we were around, one of my other hats that I've now taken on is I'm a co-chair in the IEA Public Relations and Communications Committee, which is a sexy sounding title, but basically we're trying to develop a new comms strategy, and a comms policy. And when I say new, there's never actually been one in the past, so I'm trying to take us into new places. So hopefully with the work that we're doing there, then we'll see encouraging more people to do the sort of thing that we're doing, share work, share what they're doing in different ways. And then the big thing coming up, which I'm going to be pushing people to be talking about quite a lot over the next 12 months or so, is IEA 27, which is the IEA Triennial conference. It was in South Korea a couple of years ago, and it's now coming to London. So yeah, there's been a lot going on, as well as work been getting in the way. Work has been really, really heavy. But I'm so pleased to be back here where we can actually do the fun stuff, because I think that's the big thing. It's all work and no play, whereas I've really missed being able to just chat and have a bit of fun around the human factors piece, as well as bringing seriously dedicated reviews and insights into human factors news.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the news, shall we get into it?
Let's do that.
Let's hit the thing. Go. Hit it. Go. Yes, this is the part of the show all about human factors news, and we've certainly missed a lot of it over the last year. So, Barry, I think we have a couple stories tonight. What's the first thing we want to get into?
Yeah, so as you say, we're going to talk at least about 4 stories tonight. So the first one we're going to look at is AI video. So the artificial intelligence landscape continues its rapid evolution, and the latest developments in AI-generated video represents a significant inflection point for human factors practitioners. We're seeing major players like Google and OpenAI release increasingly sophisticated video generation tools. Google's Veo 3 and OpenAI's Sora 2 that can create high-fidelity video content from text prompts, compete with the synchronized audio and precise physical modeling. AI video generation raises fundamental questions about how humans will interact with, evaluate, and trust synthetic media. We talk about cognitive load issues when users need to distinguish real from generated content, potential shifts in video literacy requirements, and entirely new interaction paradigms for content creation tools. The democratization of video products could reshape everything, from training simulations to user testing methodologies. There's the erosion of visual truth, accessibility concerns around generated content, and the ethical minefield of deepfakes and misinformation. And as you can tell, that this video is certainly not AI generated, because it wouldn't make as many mistakes as I did during that first reading. And what do you think? I haven't done it for 12 months.
You know what? It's all right, man. You're good. You're good. I think it's been a minute, so I forgive you for the and the blurbs need work. The blurbs need work. Anyway, AI video. Yeah, that's a thing. How crazy is it? I that we've been gone for that long, that both Veo 3 and Sora 2 have come out and have hit like mainstream-ish trends. Like I'm seeing these videos everywhere now. Some of them are hilarious, others are concerning. And we'll go over all those. But, I think in general, it raises a lot of questions, certainly around trust in who's sharing what and what we can believe on the internet. And I don't know, man, where's your head at all of this?
I think when you start off, so if you take the very simplistic view that it's all entertaining, right? So we all watch shorts now. You sit there scrolling through your reels or your shorts or your TikTok, and you see short bits of media that give you a laugh, or maybe you shed a tear or something like that. And there could be either real videos or AI generated. Does it really matter as long as you're entertained at that point? So from that really simplistic perspective, more power to you, Albert. I think it's brilliant. However, as was raised in that really badly read blurb, it's when if people start then believing and taking the facts from these things. You used to be able to tell a video quite easily, because it would have, you'd have 8 fingers on one hand, or 3 arms and 2 heads, whereas now it's really, really sophisticated, and you see yourself having to look towards the tags to see whether it's been tagged as AI generated, because it's conceivable what it is. And then when you then talk about speeches from political leaders, and you're having to seriously sit there and go, is that AI generated or is that real? Because you just don't know. So I think from a very simplistic perspective on, it's all just entertainment. That's absolutely fine. That's cool. But you're right. We're right in being concerned about it, in terms of how do we trust what is being said, and at what point does it matter? What do you think?
Yes. So let's. I'd like to talk about the breadth of what's out there, right? So on the funny spectrum, some of the things that I've seen are like, have you seen the chiropractor video?
No.
The chiropractor videos, they're taking like, 2x4s and smacking people in the back and throwing them into the wall. Just
Nice.
completely ridiculous scenarios that you would never actually find in real life, which those are hilarious to me. Then there's sort of in the middle, which is like convincing, but not meant to be inherently deceptive or dangerous. So this is like the kittens jumping on the trampoline or something. It's like a Ring camera footage of kittens jumping on a trampoline. I don't remember that one. Bunnies? Was it bunnies? It might have been bunnies.
Like that, yeah.
Bunnies jumping on the trampoline. And that's not inherently like something to promote misinformation. It's probably just something that somebody created, like show me bunnies jumping on a trampoline through a Ring camera. And then there's sort of the other more dangerous, sinister end. And I've seen all three of these on those platforms. The last one that I've seen is people going around and taking an image of somebody like a store and then giving an AI a prompt to have them do something like show their belly or like climb on top of something in the store and show it to them, be like, is this you? Did you
Yeah.
do this? And I've seen that trend, and that one's a little bit more dangerous because now you're actually trying to convey that somebody did something that they did not do. And you can go even further too, right? You have I think at one point during the year you had some AI video of Donald Trump licking Elon Musk's feet played in some federal government building, right?
Yeah.
And so like if you believe that type of thing, it might be convincing. But then so I think there's quite a broad spectrum of how to use this in terms of how we actually discern. There's a really good account, and I wish I had his name handy, but he goes through and looks at videos and kind of gives you information about the tells for AI videos, and you can look at things like the fuzzy edges. And staying on top of that stuff is going to make it really apparent who knows um, who is able to discern real from generated. I don't know. I have a lot of like concerns, I guess, if this is used for nefarious purposes in the past. But I guess the sort of default that I've taken over the last couple months has been default to no trust. In what I'm
Yeah.
seeing. If it seems like it's too crazy, it probably is. And I know that's not true for all videos, but that's sort of the approach that I've sort of found myself in. Is I used to go, wow, that's crazy. They caught that on camera too. Did they really? I don't know. What's been your sort of shift over the last few months?
I think there's been a definite, because certainly, and we've got to take this into account where politics is as well, or general people's belief in what's going on, because I don't think that necessarily people are using these videos as sources of truth. I think they're using them as strengthening their own beliefs. So if they see something that they believe in, then that just reaffirms what they already believe in. And if they see something that is not necessarily against, is against their beliefs, then they're using it saying, "Oh, that's fake. That's fake." In fact, it's now entered general parlance, or certainly it has in the UK. I don't know whether it has in the US, where younger members of society are now, if they think something is wrong or fake, that it's now called, "Oh, that's AI."
Oh, that's AI. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that piece. But I think I mean, in past episodes, if we think back that far, because it's been a while, we have. I don't think anything's changed in this. It's just got the technology's got better, but I think we still in that phase of there's distinct. We should be careful about what we're watching. What I'm really interested with this is how could we use this in the HF world? Because I was thinking about it in terms of if you could you give it a sufficient prompt for it to give you a user run through of maybe sort of a process or a procedure, or could you give it a UI you've designed, and could you get it a user to maybe interact with it in a way that you weren't thinking of, and things like that. I haven't. I mean, cards on the table. I've not tested it in this way. So ChatGPT, we've spoken about at length that we've used it for doing HF analysis, using it for whiteboarding, all that sort of stuff. I've not used this in this way, but the stuff we've been talking about tonight makes me think that maybe we could use it in a really positive is maybe a strong word, but can we use it as an HF tool in a way that we haven't been able to before?
Yeah, I get that approach. I mean, I wonder, the thing that I would wonder about is like, could you potentially like model a safety video or something, for
Mhm,
somebody like let's say you don't have the resources to create a safety video. Could a one person human factors team come up with a safety training video for a product that actually uses it in a way or is convincing in a way that is approved by the human factors person, that then they can go off and say it's out there. I mean, there's probably still like you need to disclose that it was AI. And speaking of disclosures, like there's a whole realm of uh laws and safeguards and guardrails against AI that we could get into, but that's I feel too
and
much
that's a
for
whole
this.
new
Yeah,
episode.
we talked at length about that in the past, but I mean, it goes to say, like you require people to label it as AI generated, but they don't always.
Mhm,
And so, what's the penalty for that? Slap
yeah,
on the wrist, a content violation, right? That type of thing. But really, I think the power in this is going to be it will create a divide between those who have media literacy and those who do not.
mhm.
Um, and it's really good. It's really going to be interesting to see. I've even had this happen a couple times where my wife has shown me a video, and she hates AI with a passion, and she like I love to kind of poke at her about it because I'm like, you know that it could be used for like good stuff too. She hates it with a passion, and so she shows me a video, and I'll flip it on her and be like, that's AI, right?
Yes. Well, but it is, and it is interesting. I think it's the um it's a new it's almost it's a new age, isn't it? It's about how do we use this stuff for good, and what is good, because actually like what we've described in the past is to do some of this. We're taking away work from videographers, we're taking away work from people who do this stuff professionally. But then the other argument is true, that actually we wouldn't be using it if it wasn't available. So if I could, have a cognitive walkthrough of a website that is graphically produced by some sort of AI tool, or just a walkthrough of a user trial or something like that, I wouldn't be doing that in any other way. I wouldn't generate a video as evidence in the same sort of way so cheaply. So I don't think you're taking anybody's jobs away as such, because the jobs wouldn't be there in the first place. But will this get good enough that we can seriously, as HF practitioners, HF scientists, HF engineers, use this in a meaningful way? Um, I think my gut feel is that we'll get somewhere where we use it as a good interaction tool, as a you'll play a bit of video and look, this is kind of the sort of thing we got up to, and here's the analysis, which it has huge value. Um, whether it gets any more than that, I don't know. Be cool if it did, though.
Yeah, I wonder. So, I mean, there's some safety elements here. With Sora, at least you have that Sora logo. I mean, you can remove watermarks fairly easy, but that one at least is good to see. It's there. I wonder, as we start to think about what this actually means for society and the long term effects. Um, as I said, I'm kind of switching my default mode to disbelief. I'm disbelieving that you are in the dark right now. You are turning on the lights.
Yeah, no, my studio isn't used to actually me being in here doing this, so yeah, that's exciting.
but I think what would it take for us societally to to have that media literacy? You know, should education systems like test whether or not children are able to discern something? I've had these conversations with my son. I say, do you think this is real or fake, or real or AI? And I ask him why, and he's like, I don't think that would actually happen. So I'm having these conversations with a 6-year-old. But I think I wonder, that's where my head's at. What type of things can we do from a society to protect our own interests from falling victim to these artificially generated videos?
Yes. And I guess there is an element there of truly understanding impact. And we've got to be able to, in the same way that I guess during a court case, we have to understand, what damages to of slander and libel, because it's in a similar vein. It's fraud in many ways, but we've got to understand what the impact of that is, and be able to quantify it in order for legal cases to be to start running through. So yeah, no, I think interesting times.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of time, why don't we move on to the next story?
It's almost like we can't keep time and understand we've got 4 stories.
No,
to
I'm
get through.
keeping time very well, Barry. I'm timing this out, man. We got it.
Oh, you are? I'm not.
Yes.
I'm just here for the ride. So let's talk about extended reality. So we watched extended reality headsets absolutely explode over the past year, and honestly, it's been a wild ride for us human factors folks. Between Meta pushing their Ray-Ban smart glasses with AI integration and Apple upgrading the Vision Pro with their M5 chip, we've seen this fundamental shift from VR-only experiences to mixed reality becoming the baseline expectation. The hardware is getting lighter, more comfortable, and way, way more capable. If you're in human factors, you're not paying attention to extended reality right now, you're probably missing the boat on what could be the next major computing platform after the smartphone. So we're also talking
there.
about Meta Ray-Bans and Apple Vision Pro. What do you think?
I think that's a pretty bold claim that these are the next platform after smartphones. I think that's wishful thinking, but I think we're heading in that direction. I don't know. I think that glasses are much more easy to put on than a headset is, and just generally, my faith and interest in VR have waned over time, and that's VR, sure, XR. I consider them all part of the same vein, but my faith and interest in XR has waned over time. But maybe that's just because I haven't had a chance to use one of the most advanced systems. If anyone's listening wants to send us a copy, you can do that.
I won't say no.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, have you used any of these advanced systems?
Not yet. Like, say, if anybody wants to send me some to try out, then I'm more than happy to give you an honest review. But I think in principle, I'm quite excited. So when Google Glass first came out, do you remember Google Glass? That was a while ago, wasn't it? So when Google Glass first came out, when it came out to the UK, I bought a set, and then they cancelled the program shortly after. Not that I'm bitter. But the idea behind what that was, the fact that you weren't putting on a headset that excluded your vision and you were entering another world, it was part of your world, I quite liked. But the big pushback against it at the time was everybody knew you wearing Google Glass, because it was bulky, it was very specific, and it looked exactly like what it was. Where I see the Meta Ray-Ban display in particular changing the game here is because it's just another pair of shades. Unless you know what you're looking for, it's just another pair of glasses, which I think is really cool. There's a flip side argument to that, though. That again, one of the big arguments against Google Glass was people's safety, privacy, and all that going on with the cameras and whatnot. Now, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, the Meta Ray-Ban has all the inbuilt cameras in the same way as Google Glass had, but you're still having a level of your privacy being invaded, but in this time you don't know that it's happening, because the technology's got so much better. And unless you know that that it's happening, then what does that mean for us? because if anybody's wearing body cams or anything like that, it's blatantly obvious wearing a body cam. It's a big square thing on your chest, etc. So there is elements around that, but also there's the societal issues here, where if somebody's wearing, it's bad enough at the moment when you're in a Teams meeting or Zoom meeting or whatever, and somebody hasn't got the camera on, you don't know whether they're paying attention to what you're saying. You know, you're not getting them societal cues with these more realistic, believable headsets. Providing that augmented reality, you have no idea really the person you're talking to, what are they actually looking at? Are they paying attention to you, or actually are they reading the news on the through their extended reality because they're bored of you, but they're just showing you a polite face? Or are they getting better cues on how to react and engage with you, using more information as it comes in that you just don't have? So in all sorts of meetings, etc., etc., they maybe are unleveling the playing field. That said, I'm quite excited by them. I think I like the idea of them, particularly from us, from a human factors perspective. We love doing eye tracking experimentation, and I think allowing these type of things to exist helps us with queuing and things like that. So there's all sorts of good stuff we could do with it for as far as enhancing tasks. But there is, I think there's some real issues to grapple with, and this is not going to go away. I think these are now here too. These have now been the first ones that you can look at and say, XR is here to stay.
Yeah, a few things. I think the first thing with regards to privacy safety is that these glasses have a visual indicator on them that indicates that you're being recorded. I think it's a little red light. The problem with that is that you can hack this thing to disable the light. You can put over a piece of electrical tape over the light, so you're immediately being deceptive when you do those things. There's also, when it comes to privacy and safety, I think there's there was an article in Forbes a couple months back that looked at a group of college students. I'm trying to look at the article right now. Yeah, Harvard. They had hooked these Ray-Ban smart glasses up to a facial recognition system that they had built, and what it did is, as you were talking to somebody, it would recognize their face, look them up on social media, and you were able to pull up details about them live in the moment. And they call it eye X-ray, and that also, well, I mean, we all need to take care of our digital footprint, but it just goes to show how big our digital footprint can be. If somebody were to look at me and go, "Oh, hey, you're the host of Human Factors Cast," I wouldn't know if they've actually know that from listening to the show, or if their glasses just looked it up. So there's a ton of privacy concerns, a ton of security concerns, and I think that's a lot to think through. I don't know all the answers, but
I mean,
we open the can of worms on this show and don't put them back in.
I think there's a lot of, I mean, just thinking about work I'm doing at the moment, I think there is massive amounts of positive roles I can see this being useful in. So any sort of maintenance activities, any sort of maintenance tasks. So it acts like that virtual mentor, virtual assistant. It can recognize what you're looking at, help guide tasks and things like that. You could have it in medical settings, where I think paramedics being able to identify things by it seeing what it can see through the cameras. A slightly more, I guess, in the UK, I'd be happier with this than what's happening in the US at the moment. But how the police forces could be using it. So when you have to, police pull you over, you have to give them identification. Actually, they could probably get that fairly quickly using these type of devices, rather than having to go through and look up and all that sort of stuff. Whether that's a good thing at the moment, I don't know. So I think it's interesting. The one I haven't really seen, if I'm honest. So I've seen a lot on the Meta Ray Bans. I've seen very little on the Apple Vision, comparatively. So
Yeah. So really, what the Apple Vision thing here, they added the M5 chip, and they've added some comfort features. But I think what's interesting about both of these, um, they've well, also with the Apple, they've added some additional features with like being able to show more pixels to the eye and to do a higher refresh rate, which is better for things. But I think the interesting thing to me across both of these stories is that the default has now gone to mixed reality,
yes.
where the default in the past had been like, oh, let's look at virtual reality and see how we can throw on a headset and get transported to this other world. But now it seems like that's kind of like a it also has this too, and that's kind of nice in some scenarios, like where you can watch a big screen TV or something in a virtual environment. But I think the interesting thing is the default towards the mixed reality, and that is exciting to me. I mean, you imagine a world. You started to bring up some of these like use cases. You imagine a world where um, you have onboard captioning for somebody who needs accessibility features, right? Like you're sitting in a panel and you have onboard captioning right there. Like you said, I think there's probably a lot of good that we can do data collection wise in terms of like studies and tasks that we could use to better make things for humans. And so I don't doubt the positive upsides to these. My brain tends to go towards the darker side of this. It's like, there's a story about a guy walking around a water park, um, with these Ray-Ban, and no one thinks otherwise. There's still a novel enough technology to where people won't look twice at you for wearing Ray-Bans.
Mhm.
Um, I think it will be quite interesting once we get to the point in the future where this stuff is more ubiquitous to where everyone is wearing a pair, right? There was a point where not everyone had a smartphone. There was a mix of smart and dumb phones, and it was it was not that long after where everybody had one. And I'm wondering if we'll encounter something similar here. Are there going to be things that we attach to our glasses that then operate the same way, that give us that same advantage as the built-in, the built-in Ray-Ban stuff? Will glasses come with this by default? Are there going to be pairs that people can wear that don't have lenses in them, or have lenses that don't have magnifying qualities for the vision impaired? Right? Like, will everybody have a pair of glasses in the future? I don't know. Um, but it is kind of interesting to think about where we would go if this technology became more affordable, because like I said, I can see the upsides,
Mhm.
being able to
Yeah.
display my calendar on the wall, or whatever it is.
I think there's the interesting bit with both of these examples is they, as you quite rightly highlighted, they're almost two ends of a spectrum, where the Apple Vision Pro is still in that headset. It's big, it's ugly. When you compare it to the set of Ray-Bans, Ray-Bans is looking like it's part of you. It will end up being a fashionable product because of what it is. And and I think what you just said is right. You will almost have the element of like, oh, what do you mean you're wearing dumb glasses, as opposed to as a smartphone. I think the other bit that you mentioned as well about the move away from virtual reality, and I think it's about, for me, it's about how committed you have to be to do a virtual reality headset. You have to put it on. You have to disappear in the world. You have to prep yourself beforehand to make sure you're not going to run into anything. And then also you had to trust the people around you that they weren't going to do anything silly. Whilst you basically could cut off all of your senses, whereas XR is merging your senses. And I've seen some of the games and things that make use of the space around you rather than cut you off entirely from it. So it's obviously safer and that as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. And I'm really keen to try out some of particularly the Ray-Bans, I think.
Yeah, it will be interesting. For now, though, I think we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about more news stories right after I find the button for this.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our weekly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and Human Factors Minute, a Patreon-only weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level may be right for you. Thank you, and remember, it depends.
Have I mentioned lately how wonderful our patrons are? I haven't because we haven't been on, but
I don't think you mentioned that in about a year. So,
I mean, sincerely, thank you. For those of you who did not unsubscribe from your Patreon, thank you. I understand that we've been gone, and I appreciate everything because we wouldn't be able to keep the same amount of setup that we had without that. I can commit that we are back. We are back, baby. We'll make it worth it. So thank you. I have nothing else to add. Just thank you. The show is supported by people like you. Okay, let's get into our last two stories here. You want to read the next one for cars?
Yeah. So, in a revolution for common sense, the automotive industry has experienced a significant course correction in interface design, marking a rare victory for human factors principles over aesthetic minimalism. After years of migrating crucial vehicle controls to touchscreens, a trend that prioritized sleek dashboards over driver safety, manufacturers are finally acknowledging what ergonomics researchers have long warned: eyes off road time matters. Euro NCAP's decision to require physical controls for 5-star safety ratings, coupled with major automakers reversing their touchscreen-only strategies, represents more than just a design trend. It's a validation that evidence-based human factors engineering eventually prevails, even against powerful market forces. So, Nick, what's your car look like now?
It's still got a lot of physical control. I still drive a 2015 thing.
Cool.
I don't have that much Patreon money, Barry. I mean, like, yeah, mine personally doesn't have all it. It does have a touch screen for things like the audio controls. But I think the physical controls, the climate control, the fan, there's still a lot of physical controls even for the audio playback. I think this is a good thing generally. There's been a lot of push towards the unified touchscreen over the years, probably for profitability, profit margins. If you can put all the controls in one touchscreen, then why would we need to make controls for every little thing? Whether or not that's the right approach, that's the approach that I think many decision makers have made at car companies. I think they have long thought that some of the solutions to a touchscreen were going to be things like voice commands or steering wheel mounted controls, which do work. But I think the things like voice commands, there's an inherent difficulty with trying to communicate while you are driving, and to make sure that the system understands what you're saying, and to make sure that system interprets what you're saying as the correct action. There's just a lot of places where it can break down, and I'm just happy to see that, like you said, common sense is winning out here. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? You had some pretty strong thoughts in the pre-show.
Yeah, no. So I've always been a bit of a touchscreen fan within reason. So from a design perspective, as soon as you commit to a hard button, you cannot change that design. You cannot play with it. You cannot evolve it. You can't improve it. It is once you've committed to a hard button, it's absolutely there in, I was gonna say in stone, probably in plastic. And so from a future looking perspective, I do think that that touchscreens have a huge amount of value in evolving systems. But that is always has to have been traded off, and particularly when I remember doing this work years ago in civilian cockpit space, that it was right. What can you put on a touchscreen? What has to stay hard as hard buttons, and why? And so it's things like where you're needing to do stuff, but you need to keep your eyes on the road, eyes in the air, eyes outside the cockpit to do things. And you need to be able to touch it, identify it, and then action it without actually having to look at it. And so them sort of controls are really, really important. So getting that balance right between what can I have on a touch screen, what do I need to have physical controls, I think is as much of an art as it was a science. And really what drove us down a whole touchscreen route was, if we've got to be blunt about it, was Tesla. A lot of other companies were, I guess, playing with touchscreens and putting more onto it, but it wasn't until you got to Tesla putting all the controls through a single screen and a single point of failure, that everyone suddenly started going, "Whoa, is this a step too far?" In previous programs, we obviously joked a bit about so I had the Mustang Mach-E that had a very large screen, but had a balance of controls on the screen and hardwired controls. And I did see through upgrades, as some weren't necessarily I would consider upgrades, but yes, that touchscreen environment evolved, that screen environment evolved, and some of the actual hard buttons that had functions were actually ended up being disabled because they couldn't get on with them, and so they could have been dealt with in different ways. So I'm liking where we're at now. I'm liking that an identification of, right, these controls, these bits, you have to have hardwired. You have to have physical buttons, because it gives the guidance to designers as well, about what is important, but also then still allowing touchscreens, not just touchscreens, but actually digital displays, to allow flexibility for designers to not have to upgrade the car every time, but you can still upgrade the screens and get a new user experience in it. It would be really cool, and this is a slight aside, that with them screens, if you could actually get into them and maybe have an element of customization that you as a user can do, just as not as HF designers, but as a vehicle owner, being able to better customize displays. But that's an aside to what we're talking about with touchscreens.
Giving my Star Wars UI on that touchscreen. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I've
I think
seen do stuff like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I think there's I see your point about being able to update over time, but for things like the way that I'm thinking about it, do you really need updates for climate controls? They're knobs and switches, and those work. We know those work, and those work with gloves on.
Yeah, that's true.
So the interesting thing to me is that the NCAP, the Euro NCAP has full out said, if you want a 5-star safety rating, you are going to need physical controls for indicators, hazards, wipers, horns, and e-call. So that,
I mean, I've got no arguments with any of them. I think it's when you're then looking at the entertainment system. So still
Sure.
you want to have your volume and stuff hardwired, I think, because you want to be able to mute it quickly. But being able to change, forward and moving tracks back, forward and back, being able to change music sources, things like that. Being able to watch different things on there when you're parked up. I think there is, again, it's that balance. And I want to be able to take a display and make it cool. and make it really personable. And as the technology evolves, or I guess maybe the software evolves, I want to be able to have the opportunity to upgrade that car without having to upgrade everything in it. I think it provides a better product.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some things that you can do from a safety perspective when it comes to this hybrid approach of using touchscreens versus the physical controls. I wonder if there's things that you can do, like being able to limit the amount of menus that you have to go through on a physical touch or on a touch screen while you're driving, right? Can you disable menus, right? Something that where you need to actually glance away and scroll and click and do those things. I don't know. Like, wouldn't it be great if we had like human factor scores on these
Yes.
cars, right? Like instead of safety ratings, you get human factors, human factors ratings.
Cool. I mean, what's really interesting is so I I no longer have my Mustang. I've now got a Dacia Bigster. I don't have you heard of Dacia in the US?
Mm,
So it's a where's it from? It's a bit Eastern European based company, but actually Renault have now either bought it out or co-own it. And I've we've got them basically they started off by providing SUVs, but really cheap. So decent quality, but cheap. And so you're buying an affordable vehicle. And then Renault bought them out, I think, 2-3 years ago. Um, and now you're getting Renault engineering as well in that. And what I'm quite interested by is this has got a touchscreen in it, much smaller and a lot more physical controls. Some of them are not quite badly designed physical controls, but they've still got physical controls. And it's still got some of this idea of locking some of this stuff out, locking some of the UI out when you're driving and things like that, which I quite like. I think it just proves that that good UI doesn't have to cost the earth. And getting both touchscreen and the physical bits right, you can do that. It's not just the purview of high end cars. I'm quite excited to see what this new view into the future looks like for vehicle UI.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the line is. Speaking of the line, do you want to talk about robotics? And I'll talk about why the line is a good good
Yeah,
transition for that.
I'm doing that. So, 1X Technologies is now taking pre-orders for Neo, a humanoid robot designed specifically for household use, with delivery starting in 2026. This marks a significant shift from sci-fi concept to actual product you can buy for 20 grand or for $499 a month. What's interesting from a human factors perspective is their design philosophy. They're prioritizing safety with compliant actuators, soft body construction, and intuitive voice interfaces powered by large language models. The robot can learn new tasks through teleoperation and includes privacy features like no go zones. For our field, this represents a critical movement where we seriously need to address human robot interaction design, trust calibration, and the cognitive load managing of AI assistants in intimate home environments. The real test won't be whether Neo can fold laundry, it'll be whether people actually want to live with it. I'll just put it out there. I want a Neo. I want it now. I'll have it. I can wait till 2026, but I want it in my life.
Okay, so you've seen. I don't know if you've seen the controversy around this. Have you seen the controversy?
Yep. I've just seen the video, which looks cool.
Okay. The controversy is that it's not actually robotics doing this stuff. It's a teleoperated system by an operator who is training the robot to do things in your home, at least for the early adopters. And over time, these robots will be able to complete these tasks. But right now, it's very, very rudimentary. I think the robot, the person who was teleoperating the robot took like 6 minutes to load 3 dishes into the dishwasher. Okay, that's still 3 dishes that I didn't have to put into the dishwasher. Is my thought on it. I would love a robot in the home to do some of those things, keep it tidy, that type of thing. I I think it's interesting that we're getting now into a scenario where you can either subscribe to this service or purchase it outright. Uh, and the subscription is an interesting price when you look at the cost to own. So I mean, just a what is the price to own? It's like 20,000 to
It's
something like
it's
that.
20 grand or half a grand a month subscription. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're basically 40 months. You'd have, no, right? Yeah, 40 months. You'd have paid it off.
yep.
So are they suggesting that probably you wouldn't keep it for that long?
I don't know.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, you got to. This is early adopter technology, isn't it? It's stuff that you're going to be engaging with, and you know, none of us have got. I don't. Well, I haven't had. You might have. I don't know whether you Swish new background and things. You got 20 grand just to drop on a new robot just to help you around the home.
Yeah, this background costs 20 grand, Barry.
Yeah. Well, that Patreon, you know, it's got to be spent somewhere.
Not
You know what I
cars.
mean?
Background.
The type of people that's going to be dropping this at the moment is not you or I or the general public. But yeah, so for that reason, you know, with any sort of AI or autonomy based technologies, we've got to start asking the questions. Right, what's the knowledge base? Where's it coming from? And it's got to learn somewhere. So how that is happening is interesting. But go ahead, 2 years maybe, maybe not even that long, but say 2 years. This type of system will have changed, will have graded. I mean, I guess where I'm at the moment is we recently just got one of the automated vacuum machines, vacuum cleaners. So the little vacuum robot. And I was when we first got it, or when we first were talking about it, I was like, we don't need that. That's just silly. Why would we waste? Because they're not cheap. Why would you waste the money in doing that? But I have to say, we've had it now a month, maybe something like that, and my carpets have never been so clean because it goes out every single day whilst you're out at work, whilst you're out doing whatever, and it's just doing its thing, and you've suddenly freed up time. Or you've got cleaner rooms depending on which, you know, if you're anything like me, then it maybe just got slipped. So if this is then able to do stuff like loading the dishwasher, like doing your laundry and that type of thing when you're not there, that's got to be power to everybody's elbow, because this is the whole thing about where the future of the human race and the autonomy in the machines live, is that if it's not freeing up time for us to do other things, then almost what's the point? Whether people are going to have problems with a humanoid in the home as opposed to a vacuum cleaner that looks like a little disc just pootling around, is that going to cause problems? Is that going to cause problems of how we perceive Neo in this case? So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where this goes.
I am too. This one's a fun one. I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes and where, especially where it goes after the teleoperation training is done. And it's not clear to me whether or not the teleoperation training is like a mandatory thing that you have to do with an operator before it gets accustomed to your home, or whether or not they, you know, someday they'll be able to ship it to your house and it will be able to learn based on your actions. Like you can have it watch you and train that way. It's not clear to me, but that it will be interesting if it's plug and play in the future. I'll mention one thing here. A lot of people say that humanoid robots are not the most efficient, and that is true. That is absolutely true. But the interesting thing about a humanoid robot is that it can use humanoid tools. So it can use things that are built for us, right? You imagine having training it to build to build something with actual power tools. Can you imagine one of these things coming running after you with a chainsaw? That'd be fun. All right. Anyway, we got a couple minutes left. Why don't we get into one more thing, Barry?
Let's do that.
All right. Well, what's your one more thing? How do we do this? Do you go first? Do I go first?
I'll
You go
go
first.
first. Normally, we'd have done it came from. That would have given us a little bit of
Yeah.
a thing, but we haven't got that because one more thing is one more thing, and it doesn't have. It's think it's just one more thing. So my one more thing, I have a new passion. I think the last time we spoke, I'd maybe just found this idea about where I went for a lesson on how to do a bit of pottery, how to throw some clay on a wheel and make objects. Well, this what single lesson has now blossomed into some would say a passion. I think obsession is probably um, a better thing where I spend a lot of my time now. Whereas I used to watch videos on things like AI robots and things like that, I now watch people throwing clay on a wheel and making cylinders and attaching handles to these cylinders. And then it's a mug, or broadening out the top of it, and suddenly it's a bowl. There's so much you can do with a cylinder; it's unreal. So I've now spent money on a professional pottery wheel. I've now got my own kiln. I've built my own little pottery. Yeah, it's gone places. I'm still just skimming the surface of just the depth of this type of thing that you can go to. But no, I finally found a hobby that I was going to say isn't based around human factors, isn't based around the day job. However, there's a lot of there's when you an ergonomic mug or something, you just look at it, or the feel of it just isn't right. It's so tactile that I never thought I'd be any good at this type of thing. And no, we have not had any reenactments of Ghost in any shape, way, or form.
I was going to ask. We made that joke last time you talked about this.
Yeah. And no, we still haven't got around to it. Amanda's not up for it, so there we go.
No.
Nick,
You need to do. Well, you need to do like a tour of your setup.
Well, I've been I mean, I can absolutely do something like that for us in the future, because some people saying, "Oh, maybe you should start doing like sort of shorts and stuff on the stuff you're doing," because there's a lot of content out there. And I was like, well, actually, I do put. So my Instagram now is just purely for pottery stuff, or almost purely. For pottery.
Train the algorithm well.
Yeah, so that's now where I'm posting that, and it posts it out onto Facebook, onto Threads, but I'm sort of not polluting the other streams with it. So that's now my one out bit. So I don't know, I might play a bit with doing bits of video on it, but again, it might end up becoming something that I don't want it to be. So
yeah,
but no, I found a new passion, and it's very exciting.
You can keep your hobbies separate. That's fine. For me, this is allow me to be vulnerable for a moment. So we relocated earlier this year, and part of the relocation rationale was that we would be closer to my wife's family and friends. And one thing that has been a little bit more obvious to me is like how much she is thriving, and I love that. I love that. She's got family and friends around her, and it's becoming more and more obvious to me that I don't have friends. Allow me to be vulnerable for a second, right? It's genuinely difficult to make friends as an adult, and particularly one with a diverse set of interests and skills. And I say that to say how thankful I am for the people in my life, even if they can't be around me physically, who are willing to like sit and chat with me through virtual means. I think that goes a long way until I can establish some roots here. But didn't mean to bring the show down on a bad note. I just wanted to say how thankful I am for people who entertain a virtual meeting from time to time, like yourself, Barry.
Yeah, no, but it's a really strong point. I mean, I think it's so true, especially in today's age. Whereas I think because we can do so much more online and things like that, it's a lot harder to do the face-to-face stuff. So we've been living in this house now 8 years this year, and I would say in the grand scheme of things, I've probably got one or two good friends in the village I live in, and that and that's it. Whereas historically, you'd have been like around, you'd have been names and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, mate, I feel for you. It is hard, and you've just got to keep cracking on at it to do. But in the grand scheme of things, yeah, we're all here for you. It's all good.
Thanks, man. If anyone wants to talk Star Wars and be a friend, I'll be there. All right. With that, that is our first episode back. That's it for today, everyone. If you like this episode, there are plenty of episodes in our backlog about any of the titles that we talked about today, or any of the stories. You can comment wherever you're listening with what you think of the stories this week. I thought they were a good way to get us back into this podcasting scene for sure. For more in-depth discussion, why don't you go and stop by our Discord community? We're trying to revitalize that a little bit. Say hi, say hello, make a friend or two. Visit our official website, sign up for our newsletter, stay up to date with all the latest Human Factors news. Hey, we're humanfactorscast.com now. We got it back for the Chinese drillers. If you like what you hear, you want to support the show, there's a few ways you can do that. One, you can leave us a 5-star review. That is free for you to do and really helps the show grow. It helps other people find us, that type of thing. If you like what we're doing, you can tell your friends about us. Word of mouth really helps, and in fact is one of the primary reasons why the listenership has not gone down over the last year, even though we haven't been producing. So thank you. And 3, if you have the financial means to and want to support us financially, you can support us on Patreon. We're always grateful for any donations that you would be willing to send our way. As always, links to all of our socials and our website are in the description of this episode. Mr. Barry Kirby, thank you for being on the show today. Where can our listeners go and find you if they want to find out where they can find a picture of you reenacting the scene from Ghost?
Yeah, that's Instagram. But that's just between me and Instagram. So it used to be that I would be all over all the social media channels. Really, nowadays, I'm focusing on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And you can find me on both of them channels, as well as the 1202 Human Factors podcast is still live, it's still running. And as I know, a lot of people have been downloading past episodes, they're all there. And new content should be coming either at the back end of this year or early next year. And you'll find all of that at 1202podcast.com.
As for me, I've been your host, Nick Rome. You can find me on our Discord and across social media at Nick_Rome. Thanks again for tuning in to Human Factors Cast. Until next time, it depends. And if you're watching, stick around. We'll have a great post show here where we can play around with stuff. Where's the music? Got to hit the music. Should I hit us with that epic Human Factors Cast rendition again? That was pretty. That was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'll hit us with it again. That was a good show.
That was good. It's very quiet. That music. There we go. That's better. A little more in the room. That was a fun way to get back.
Yeah. We're back.
I like that 4 score. I mean, the score a bit much. I thought we got. I thought that worked.
Yeah, it was nice. If only we went a weird a year between podcasting, it would work. Great.
Yeah, but I mean, because we've done it before where we've had like 4. I'm just thinking about the difference between doing 4 stories relatively lightly, as opposed to doing the it came froms and that type of stuff, whether it works as a bit of a format.
Yeah, I'm open to playing with it. I think we used to do 3 stories very lightly, and they were varying in depth in terms of how deep we went into the human factors issues. I struggle with it in some ways because I think we didn't quite get into the meat of the discussion quite as much when we did that, and I kind of felt that tonight too. But in a way, I felt like tonight we needed to well, one, to get you practice reading the blurbs. By the 4th one, you were seasoned pro.
I was back on it. It's the read what's actually written there as opposed to reading what I think should be there. You know, so
right. We should spend a little bit more time next time preparing. But I think the interesting thing about tonight was that we had a lot to talk about and there were different things. We could certainly do that in the future. We could go back to a model. The thing that I ultimately music stop. Let me play the just hear us. What do we usually do? What is it? Future pop. That's it. There we go. Future pop. There you go.
I think there's definitely something. I mean, I think we don't have to stick to a single format. If there's 4 interesting stories, then let's go for all of them and ditch the rest of it.
Okay, done.
Or if there's only a couple of interesting stories, then do one story and then a bunch of it came from, or social thoughts, or something like that. I think maybe mixing it up and not being, which is I've got to be honest, I struggle with, because I quite like formulaic. It appeals to my neurodiverse nature. We've been on a journey with neurodiversity of the past 12 months as well. But no, if we sort of maybe we're willing to maybe mix it up a bit, maybe that makes it a bit better, because sometimes it might be four small stories because not much has happened. I just, maybe a bit more flexibility in what we're doing might help. I don't know.
I mean, we could change it to be like 1 to 3 stories, and then 1 to 4 it came from, or something like that, to where there's a nice healthy balance, and it could be really one or the other.
Yeah, and I like because I do like the it came froms, because it links into people's real world issues, as it were. So getting the balance right, I think, is going to be key. But yeah, I think having that bit of flexibility. And then as a one more thing, maybe I could just come in with my pot of the week.
The pot of the week. Although I feel like we might attract
different
demographics. We might go viral for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Ceramic of the week.
What?
Ceramic of the week? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. There's I mean, it's crazy. Last week I got it was last weekend. Got so excited because a short vase. It's only about that big, but I'd stamped some flowers onto it.
Ooh.
I was like, that's a really pretty thing. And I was having to go into like Amanda and the kids and say, "Look at my pretty vase." Now they're not words I thought I would ever utter, like a year ago. So, yes.
All right. Well, speaking of the stories tonight, we promised a great post show here. I have access to Sora 2, and I figured, what better way to spend our post show than making AI slop together?
It's always a win.
I mean, like, is there? Well, let's take the positive. Let's take the positive route first before we get into like the super AI slop. And just by the way, that Chris Wickens thirst trap was not AI slop. That was actually done. Okay. Yeah, we're working on the communication thing, right? All right. So tell me, Barry, what is a hypothetical scenario that you would like to see? And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to take your concept, I'm going to run it through an LLM, and have it rewrite the prompt for Sora, so that way it's a little bit more clear. We have 15 seconds to play with for Sora videos. What do you want to do?
So I think we should do a video of where you and I meet in person for the first time.
Okay. I do not know if it will allow us to do that without selling away our rights, which, let's see. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to write a prompt for Sora 2 that has Nick Rome. I'm going to put our names in here. We're going to see.
Well, that's where we see just how clever it is.
Okay.
When doing that, my Stream Deck has completely reset itself as well, which is just like first world problems, but really irritating.
All right. So I gave the prompt I gave was write a prompt for Sora 2 that has Nick Rome and Barry Kirby from Human Factors Cast meeting in person for the first time. We'll see what the prompt that comes back is from that, and then I'll paste that into. Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Hang on. This prompt is long, man. Hold on. Let's see how it describes me. It says ultra realistic 4K video of two podcast co-hosts meeting in person for the first time at a tech conference. Nick Rome, a mid-30s American man with medium-length dark hair, short beard, and glasses, wearing a casual button-up shirt and jeans, walks through a busy convention hallway with Human Factors posters and booths in the background. Barry Kirby, a tall British man in his 40s with a shaved head, glasses, and neatly trimmed beard, wearing a blazer over a graphic tee and jeans, spots him from across the hall. There's more to this. That's how it describes us, though. That's its understanding of us.
Okay.
We'll see. All right, throw it in. Whoop. We'll see. We'll see what comes back. I got a chicken hanging off a drone right now.
Of course you have.
It's one of the things. Let's see here. If we want to watch, if we want to watch one I played around with. Let me know if you want to watch this.
Yeah, well, clearly I can't just sit here and watch you laughing at it.
Okay, the prompt was a remote. Oh, sorry. I think I'm so funny. A remote Teams Scrum meeting where everyone on the call is sitting in their bathrooms farting over the updates.
Right. Okay. And you know, where we have conversations about we wonder why AI, ChatGPT, and all them come out with some weird stuff. I mean, how could that possibly?
How could it possibly
on society? And then have your answer.
I just thought this concept was hilarious. Okay, less laughing, more sharing. You got it. You got it. Here you go. Let me get the screen up here. Yeah, hang on. Why not share with everybody, right? All right, here's this. And I think, hold on, we had a way to do this before. I think, okay, and this is actually really great for us because look at this. We have, there it is, right in the middle. And let me make sure my audio is shared as well here. Give me a second. Replace screen sharing. Also share the audio. There. Okay. Okay. All right, here, let me kill the music so we can actually hear this. All right, so here it is.
Today I'm pairing with Mia on the bug backlog.
I merged the authentication branch, deploying after lunch, no blockers.
Great. For me, the dashboard charts are done. I'll tackle the refactor next.
Yesterday I finished the API tests and...
Today I'm pairing with Mia on the bug backlog.
I merged the authentication branch.
From the mind of Nick Rome, everybody.
Supported by
We have fun on this show.
Yeah.
But remember, I'm still waiting on the other one to come through here. So, there we go. Sorry.
That's the big thing. What was I messing about with? I had ChatGPT tease me the other day. So I was looking for. It was, what was it going to get me to do? I need to go back and look at my chats and see which one it was. But it was the. Oh, is it here?
Oh yeah, I have it. This is us meeting for the first time. You want to see it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, here it is. This is supposedly me.
Nick? Barry!
Oh man, finally!
It's been, what, 5 years?
Come here.
Good to see you, buddy.
Likewise.
Can we do this live?
Absolutely. Let's bring him in.
Nick? Barry!
Oh man,
Finally!
did not nail it.
Old. Properly bold.
Yeah.
Now I'm losing my hair. That's
Human. What did that say? Human factors. Cats see.
Hey, cat. Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay, let your imagination go wild. And I have problems making friends. Yes, I do. I have.
We need friends.
This is why I don't have friends. All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Give me something else, Barry. Give me something else.
No, can't do that.
No, can't do that. Okay. I bet you we can.
I was gonna lean back into the whole Trump speeches, but it's just too easy, and also you never know whether it's real or fake. But what about doing a user test of a teapot?
Okay. That has a human factors practitioner.
Because everyone does the analysis when they're learning of how to make a cup of tea, so it feels relevant. As I described to somebody else saying that making a cup of tea is the human factors equivalent of when software engineers learn how to do Hello World, and half the room on different halves didn't know what I was talking about. So.
Okay. All right. I'm getting the prompt here.
Cool.
I've been
playing with my so I created a human factors integration GPT, which I sort of been playing around with, and it's really quite good. It's really useful. I just wish I could use it for all of my projects. But another one, I made another GPT in the UK, we have this thing called R&D tax credit. If you, as a company, do research and you can prove that it's proper research, then you get credit back on your corporation tax, on your business tax. And but the way that you have to, the qualifying type of project has got a lot harder, but then you also have to write it in such a way, and there's like words that they don't want you to use, like innovative and things like that. And so I created a GPT that would assess, if you give it a project description, it'll give you an honest answer on whether you think it would get approval or not. And then if it did, how that the form should be filled out. And it works really well. But mainly because I did a switch into it, which was, right, given this project description, do you think it'll get funded? And it will come back and say, no, I don't think it would, given the criteria that's on the current HMRC website. And so then I turned around and said, right, if that project description won't get funded, how can I change the project description so it would get funded using the same basic criteria? So how do I need to rewrite it in order to make it sound? It started to read it. I was like, that's genius. Absolutely love that. So that's how I've been wasting my time.
Nice. I still bust out the old Human Factors Cast GPT from time to time.
I was showing it demoing it to a community last week.
Oh wow!
So I was showing my GPT, and I was showing the fact that you created a more general human factors one. So yeah, it got some more love last week.
Very nice.
I found it really useful as well for now, because I'm doing a lot more with like sort of SharePoint and Teams and stuff.
Yeah.
With 5.1, it's got way better at being able to code some of that stuff out.
Oh yeah, it's better at coding. Yeah, for sure. I've started using other models. I'm using GPT for some things. I'm using Gemini for others, and I'm using now Claude Anthropic for even more stuff.
See, I'm faithful.
Yeah, I find that they have different use cases.
Yes. No. Yeah.
I got the teapot. You want to see the teapot?
Go on them.
All right. Let's see here. They need to make this stuff easier. Hold on. I'm doing a usability test for Restream right now. There you go. Move. There we go. Okay, here's the teapot. Let me kill the music. Maybe, you know what? Excuse me. I bet you I can make a scene for this. I'm going to try to make a scene for this.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay. Anyway, here's the teapot.
Cup of tea as you normally would. Okay. Please pour a cup of tea as you normally would. Okay.
What are they writing?
I don't know.
Please pour a cup of tea as you normally would. Okay.
Hang on, I'm gonna pause on the scribbles so we can dissect it. What is that? Lid. Lid something, handle angle. Just the backwards 3. Okay.
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm a bit of a fan.
All right. How about we do one more funny one? Can chat suggest one? Maybe chat can suggest one. All right, here you go. Here's a question for you, Barry. Are you noticing an increase in plagiarism, or in the rate of plagiarism occurring in submissions in the conferences that you're a part of, particularly if you're using a tool or tools?
So I don't know, because I don't get involved. It's one of the things I try and keep my fingers out of in the organisation of conferences at the moment. It's not something that's been raised as an issue recently, so I think the answer is probably no right now. However, it is going to get more because people are using it more and more, and I do see more in universities that the drive to make sure you have is a big thing. So, yeah.
Hang on, I'm making a scene. Yeah, hang on. So let's see here. This works. So go back to this. Come over here. Oh, but the music doesn't transfer with it. I wish the music transferred with it, but at least that's good. So I can actually. Oh, that's real nice. That's real nice. So I don't have to do all the things again. Look at this. Look at how fancy. We're professional streamers now, Barry. I should add that to that scene. Look at this. It's just.
You know what you're doing.
Yes.
It's almost like you got this new interface thing.
They have something here. Well, hey, this is great. This is fantastic. I love this. Wonder what else we could do. Hang on. Could we like do this and then like put one of these right there? Oh, hey, look.
Oh.
I don't know. It's something. Oh, but it does hide. It does hide the QR code, and now it's not bringing back this one. Okay, bring back that one. Can I rename my screen share? I go. Where can I? Where's my? Oh, I can't rename it for the screen share. I want to rename it AI Slop. Can I do that? I don't think so. Okay, give me one more prompt here. Let's see. Is there any from chat here?
No, got to follow on.
Oh, follow on. Yeah, we can read the follow on here. Actually, let me come back to this one. There you go.
There we go. Anecdotally, I'm finding about 40% of the submissions that I've reviewed show as having plagiarized content, with about 50% of that being a false alarm. But the hit rate is what concerns me. It's fair. I think there's an interesting bit around, because ChatGPT's or whatever model you're using, is that plagiarized content, or is ChatGPT now a legitimate tool for maybe structuring or doing bits of it? And I flip-flop between answers on that. I think, because I personally use it in developing some of the stuff I do, because it's easier. I'll use ChatGPT to give me structure and then rewrite a lot of it. But I could easily see also other people just chucking it in there and not considering, and that's the big thing I'm worried about at the moment. Is I'm all for using the tool and strongly advocate using the tool, but not following through with how you should do it. And again, talking about the university piece was interesting because I've seen a few stories recently where, because it's not actually looking and being intelligent about the way it's searching, it's just about the way that it's been it's pattern matching. That's we're not being clever in the way that we do some of that assessment. And yeah, the fact that 0% has been student submitted work, that's a good thing, I think. Yeah, it's something we've got to deal with and work out, what does it truly mean? Does it mean that the work or the papers that have been submitted have no value because of the use of an AI generated tool? What are we allowing that tool to do on our behalf? In the same way, we're using word processors, spell checkers, grammar checkers, and things like that. Is it just an extension of that? And at what point does it stop being a useful tool and start doing work? Because even if the finding is legitimate, does it just lose all credibility because you can't do any part of it? Yeah, it's a murky world we live in. I do think for the student bit, what is interesting is we've relied on writing essays as being the de facto go-to way of assessing students' take-up of the educational material. That I'm hoping that this signals a change in us not being so lazy, basically looking at different ways of testing testing knowledge take-up, because essays suck and I hate writing them. That's just a very personal thing. But no, I would like to think that this forms a point where education needs to take a long, hard look at itself. Yeah, rant over.
No, I mean, this comes back to the point that I was making about media literacy and regular when it comes to understanding what you're looking at and whether or not it's something that has been generated by an LLM or in this case plagiarism. I think harder to detect if you don't have like an active checker or something like that.
No,
but I think
the
kids are all right. Kids are all right if there's no student submitted papers.
Yeah, no, I think they're still trying to do. In fact, I've been trying to encourage my kids to use it more in some of the stuff that they're doing than what they're doing, because they're like, oh, we can't do that, it's cheating. Like, it's not cheating if you use it properly. But yeah, no, interesting times.
I have one more prompt that I'm waiting on.
Okay.
Before we end the night.
It's yes, that this 2 hours has shot by really, really quickly.
It really has.
Yeah,
I am always so surprised.
It's I clearly need to work out why I realize now why my lights turn off. It's because I moved the sensor to the side of the room, over there where you can't see it. You obviously can't see me moving on the front, so I used to have it over there, but because I moved some bits of furniture around, I'm needing to get because I bought a bit of kit that I really want to test out, but because my desk is so thin, it doesn't work properly. Basically, I got a teleprompter with things. So in fact, I got one of these bad boys.
Oh, look at that thing! That's awesome.
So your webcam goes up there.
Yeah, it goes back there, and you can look right at the web. I don't know if you could tell, but my eyes have been looking a little bit closer to the camera tonight, and the reason for that is I bought something that drops the camera down from the top and puts it right in the middle of my screen.
Okay.
So yeah, as I'm looking at you now, I'm looking just below my camera, so it looks like I'm.
That's why I got this, but I haven't been able to mount it properly within my screen setup. So that's my job for the next couple of weeks.
There you go. Excited to see how that works out. All right, the prompt is just it's just about ready. Hold on. Oh no, wrong one. There we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's get this one ready. Let me get it to where it plays over at the beginning here. If it wants to go. Geez, what's going on? Okay, here we go. What was the phrasing? Did I say something wrong? Somebody clip it.
OSHA says nope. Let's rewind. Glasses on, gloves on, stop the line. Now we're ready. That's how you keep your
It's still loading, I guess.
hands and the product safe.
Thumbs up.
OSHA says nope. Let's rewind. Glasses on, gloves on, stop the line. Now we're ready.
I said,
That's how you keep your hands and the product safe.
Give me something where someone commits an OSHA violation. Gleefully. Not quite what I was expecting, but there you go. Anyway, hey, thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate your company. We are trying to set a cadence of 2 weeks. Barry, we haven't talked about this, but 2 weeks time from now is Thanksgiving in the United States. So we may need to reschedule to a Wednesday or a Friday or something. We'll figure it out, but we'll be back. We will be back. That is a promise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Human Factors Cast is back, baby. We've returned.
Yay. It's been fun. So we shall
It has been fun.
We shall see you in a couple of weeks.
See you in a couple weeks' time. Barry, thank you. Have a great night, everybody. Until next time. Bye.
Later. Bye.
Are you tired of boring lectures and textbooks on human factors and UX? Well, grab your headphones and get ready for a wild ride with the Human Factors Minute podcast. Each minute is like a mini crash course packed with valuable insights and information on various organizations, conferences, usability methods, theories, models, certifications, tools, and much more. We'll take you on a journey through the fascinating world of human factors, from the ancient history to the latest trends and developments. Listen in as we explore the field and discover new ways to enhance the user experience. From the Think Aloud protocol to the critical incident technique, focus groups, iterative design, we'll make sure that you're the smartest person in the room. Tune in on the 10th, the 20th, and the last day of every month for a new and interesting tidbit related to human factors. Don't miss out on the Human Factors Minute podcast, your ultimate source for all things human factors.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our monthly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and access to the full library of Human Factors Minute, a weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level